wet pass because it's a big set of items. And I don't know, I thought, congratulations to staff. And, it's great.
No, thank you for acknowledging that. You know, we want to run a real tight ship here. Water. Yeah, 166,000 we're spending on water. I mean, we're going to see that a little later in our board packet how much they're going to raise our rates, which coincidentally mirrors ours. But we had a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Who motion?
I think Ken.
No,
it wasn't.
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent calendar.
And second. Okay, now we have a official move in second. Roll call, please.
Director Coverdale?
Enthusiastically.
Director Feldman?
Yes.
Director Bowler?
Aye.
Vice President Reynolds?
For sure.
And President Michelson?
Absolutely.
We all were able to use a different one this time.
Yeah.
Different.
It's
different
reading.
The pads, of course, take you notes to try and keep track.
Who's been a coach?
Well, it looks like we could get through this rather quickly here and go jump over to the planning commission meetings. Well, let's go. Meetings attended, director comments. Ken, please.
So I'd like to report that 2 weeks ago, this Thursday, 2 weeks back, we happened to do some snow research. And we showed up, and unbeknownst to anyone who would have imagined, on the 26th of April, Palisades got 24 inches of fresh powder. The Sierra got blanketed. I mean, driving up, it's pretty dry looking, but the top of the Sierra, it's pretty exciting. And if you think about how that translates into water storage in the SFPUC, we're at 92% storage on, I don't think it's been the rainiest year. It's the second in a while, but 21 inches here in Halfmoon Bay, that's not a lot of rain. 27 was an average for years. And so I just got to tell you that the meeting I attended of the Snow Condition Review Committee found that even though we didn't need any compensation, we could measure a lot more snow than normal. And it was wonderful. In fact, it'll turn out to be water here in Halfmoon Bay in not that long time. So I think the snow report is amazing. And I haven't really reviewed an update from the April, which is when they do it. I kind of miss Kathleen because she was Johnny on the spot with all that. But I just wanted to let you know that we had fresh powder skiing in the morning. April 26th, 2024.
Good. Thank you.
That's the good snow, right? It's the kind of snow that's going to remain around to be able to give water. I mean, there are different kinds of snow, as I understand, and some are not really that helpful in terms of the water we need in the summer.
We're digressing.
Yeah, it could have been wetter snow.
I think it's good wet. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's the kind of snow that's going to make a difference.
Water in the bucket.
Yeah,
Okay,
moving on, guys.
Along that water line, that Saturday, you're coming up 3 weeks ago, we got 2 3/4 inches of rain in town. 2 3/4 my rain gauge.
Nice.
Yeah, so that puts us in a real comfortable position. We won't be talking about drought this year. So that's the good news. Does anyone else have anything to report or meetings attended? Bob?
I had the opportunity to attend the Aqua Spring Conference in Sacramento with Jeffrey and Mary, who were also in attendance, and Pat part of its time. My take on that was that it's no fun going to Sacramento anymore. None. That 3-hour drive on pocket, unbelievable. And back. I mean,
yeah.
No matter when you leave, it's like where all these people come from and going to that. So that's my first impression. Anyway, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. I found that the meeting this year, in my view, was better than I've remembered in the past. It was more professional. it seemed to be better organized, a little bit better planned, a little bit more professionally presented. I mean, from the ones I've been to recently, and so they were trying to, I don't know, frame it differently, make it a little bit more organized and set up, and even the graphics and the agenda and the way it's online on your phone, you can get everything you need, without having to go too far. And so that was my initial impression. The initial sessions were pretty much aqua business with the president, director, the chief executive officer of Aqua, Ernie Avita from Contra Costa was there to make some remarks, introduce some people. JPI was there to tell us how they're doing this year, which has been a tough year because of some of the problems with insurance for facilities, and some of the insurers are starting to back out of wanting to do that. So there's some concern about, how do they keep everybody insured like they have in the past? So no, they have their own interesting issues as well, but they haven't had to raise rates at this point. So they're doing all right, enough so that they don't have to raise rates, but then they're not doing any paybacks. And they haven't for the past couple of years, is that right?
They've raised it about 15%.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some raise and there's no.
Percent again. So.
Yeah, right. Considering the issues they have, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Certainly.
It could be worse.
You see that. In any event, unfortunately, they don't have reserves that they can share. They're trying to hold their reserves for difficult times. The keynote speech was Wade Crowfoot from the senior resource, the head of the resource agency, water resource agency. He was pretty good this year. Not so last year, but he came up with a very positive and overview of what the water situation was, how they're going to attack it, what things that they're going to do. And by the way, he had talked to Gavin Newsom, the governor, just earlier in the week, and told him about the meeting. And Gavin dropped everything on his desk. I mean, dropped everything on the desk, changed the schedule, and decided he'd visit us at the meeting. Wow. So guess what? They announced, here he comes. He came in and stood at the podium and then proceeded to give this well-organized, very polished, very defined speech, which he must have done on the back of an envelope, yes. Because he certainly didn't drop everything on the table and just come in there. It was well organized, well thought out, and made a case that he was going to support the water business here. He's going to do all he could to do the right things, and he was quite knowledgeable in everything. I mean, I didn't see the teleprompter. I couldn't find it. I don't know where it was.
He doesn't read.
So
he's dyslexic, so he memorizes his speech.
Unbelievable. Well, you know what? I was very impressed with his presentation. He came out really well organized and had all the facts at hand, had all the stuff he needed, and I just couldn't see that he didn't spend a lot of time getting ready for this thing, because it was good. So I would say he was smooth. That was my impression. He's a smoothie. And he really was, and very polished. And so it was impressive. We were all sort of surprised, and it was a good surprise. What can I say? Other things, not so much, but this one he did really well. And just thought you'd get a kick out of that. And he took it upon himself to come and show his stuff, and you can't argue with that. California Water Management Seminar, are they ready for the future? And that's what do all the managers here running things with the 470 agencies have to worry about? And can they get ready to go forward and do whatever it is they have to do to make sure we all keep in the water business and deliver water? And, they're all positive about the things they've done and what they will do. And they're all eager to move forward and take on any challenges. The thing I learned from all of this is there are 470 agencies. They all have pretty much the same problems in terms of rate setting and all the things we think about infrastructure replacement. But the way they are structured and the things they do and the way they deliver water are all different. I've never seen so much diversity in the way water gets issued and sent to people as there is in this state. It's like every organization's got their own universe of how they have to get water and put it on in people's in people's pipes. And so you learn that even though it's so diverse, it's still really a lot the same because of the fact that they're all having to deal with the same end product, which is keeping the customer happy, setting the rates, and generally figuring out how to keep water running in the long term, much as we do with our environment and our specific issues and our specific structure and needs. So that's what I get out of these things. It's really the same, but not so much the same. It's interesting. They had a good cybersecurity defenses session with an FBI guy who does that. That's his job, figuring out how to protect you from cybersecurity. Because the FBI doesn't do much to get the guys. They just do things to tell you how to stay protected. And Jeff and I got a kick out of that, gave us some pointers on things to look into. We also learned about CCWD, which is the cyber vulnerability scanning from the state. And we're looking into using that too. I did think it was worthwhile, and there are certainly no end of people who wish to take and deal with our security. And the other thing, of course, is that they're looking more at the problems of the instrumentation, equipment, scouting, and things like that. That's the capturing of the stuff that you use to run your business, not your financial one. And so that's a very open area still in terms of how to protect yourself. So we're going to put more emphasis on making sure we have the right firewalls built, the things that protect us from external breaches to our far-flung equipment and sources of water here in the I thought that was worthwhile, another good session. Making conservation a way of life in California, another session, which is simply how things are going to continue being like they are going forwards. And maybe even getting tighter. We're not out of the woods yet. And there was some information I gave to Daphne, but we're doing all the right stuff in terms of the way we've treated it, what we've done, and we're right on target as far as the way we have communicated it and also kept the public aware of and got their cooperation in dealing with conservation. But there's no end of it. This is going to continue. We're not out of the woods, nor will we be, basically, is the tenor of this discussion. Region 5 membership meeting, which it's okay, John, if you missed it. It was okay. We stayed there and watched it. And then we got Jeffrey primed on that Region 5 meeting. He can't wait to go back to another one. He wants to go next week if he can get a special one. And,
only if you go with me.
I apologize. We had family health issues, so I couldn't make it a day.
That's all right. So we learned what all the other guys were doing in Region 1 and all the various committees in Region 1. And that was useful and informative. New government ethics stuff. There was a public open discussion on some new things, a new act about an act that's been there, but it's been changed now in 2024, which Pat will report on or give us something on in the future, because I wasn't aware of it. And I don't think many of us were. And so it's called the Levine Act. And yeah, right. It's about contributions to political campaigns. But now it covers all public agencies and all kinds of people like us. So I wasn't quite clear on how that ties into our election process, what happens during that period, but we'll find out a little bit more about it hopefully soon. That was new. And then how to conduct rate studies with our prime and our centered consultants to see how we need to do that. And we're right on track with that because he's the guy, he's the go-to guy for that for us. Sanjay Gupta is known in this community for his work. And so I think we're working on the right page on that one. And water infrastructure financing and landscape. Where do you get money and how do you get money and where do you find cheap money and solid money and like that? And it's something we're going to certainly be looking into more and good to learn a little bit about the options and the oversight. And I know Mary's on top of that. So just a question of working it in an intelligent and a professional manner. But that was pretty much what I took out of the meeting. Sorry to
Good.
extended a little too much.
That's great.
Thank you, Bob. Thanks for taking the time
We're gonna send it every meeting.
to fight that traffic and get up there.
Good job.
Thank you. Anyone have anything else? Otherwise, we'll move on to general business. We're going.
I went to the Kalamata Water Conference in Tahoe. Was there. Flag.
Thank you for doing that. Okay, moving on to general business, please.
Okay, I'm gonna ask James to report on the Coastside.
Thank you, Mary. Tonight, we are looking at change order 3 for the Nunes project, and we're almost done. They are moving out. I'm very happy to see that. But I wanted to go over some dates just real quick so you guys understand the significance. We did change, the project started August 16th, 2021. During COVID, we had some time delays. So we did a no cost change order for an extension of time. That was change order 1. Change order 2 captured some requested changes and credits throughout the project. And that was $99,264. This is change order 3. This is a little bit bigger. This captures 15 project modifications, and it's $222,493. I just want to emphasize that this was a combination of credits and requests and cooperation from Ranger of saying you can do this cheaper in terms of like the Clearwell bypass. We are now, if you approve this change order, we'll be tracking at 3.9% of the project cost, which I think is fantastic. We're going to have a small change order at the end, change order 4, which is going to be about 40 grand. So we are tracking very strongly to be under 5% for change orders on an $8.3 million project. So a little nerve wracking to do a project without a contingency, but after I'm talking here for you and saying it's 5%, under 5%, that's really remarkable. And I just, my hat goes off to staff and everyone who's helped us with this project. Change order 3 has been vetted by our construction manager, Fryer and Loretta, and they have confirmed all the quantities are in order. Attachment A has a breakdown of the change order. We can talk about any of those if you like. And we are requesting you approve change order 3 for the amount of $222,494. And I just want to remind you, Ranger is demobilizing right now and cleaning up the site. So we are tracking to be done before the end of the month. And we're also proud of that too, because it's been a long, tough project for us. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer.
I move we approve the change.
Glenn and I at the facilities level did meet with staff to discuss these. And Glenn, would you like to fill anything in?
Yeah, we went over them in great detail, looked at all of the ins. There is a significant number of credits included here where money or costs were reduced. And they tallied up and we got a really good sheet of both. And what we both came away with was that this amount is very reasonable. It's actually impressive given some of the discrepancies that showed up in the project. That, remember, this plant was built some 40 years ago and it was full of water and full of sand and full of material when they went to take it apart. So they were doing repairs and adders to a well-used, well-maintained, but sort of in-process treatment plant. And so I'm thrilled that we got by with these numbers, and none of these were either oversights or things we blew on the front end, which I think is what this board's been really fussed about. We wanted to make sure we'd done our due diligence ahead of time, and none of these things came up as something that could have been that we made a mistake on. So I think we should be very proud. And I'll second the motion to authorize the general manager to approve this.
Yeah, and this number, the 5% is far below the actual rate of inflation over the past 3 years.
Yeah.
So this is actually coming in below cost if you factor in Biden inflation. So I think we've done quite well.
Yeah, if I may, our staff presentation was excellent and briefly mentioned, and I highlighted it here for this agenda item. Thank you to all our staff from the top down. And I can remember almost every meeting we've had, you said how one person, this person, that person did a good job of catching this and doing that and saving us funding. So we can't thank all of our staff enough for this. This was And you guys are the professionals by this, and I think this is a great agenda item.
Yeah, really
forward on.
Yeah, thank you. Very well managed project.
Yeah.
Okay. Ken, you were about to?
No, he did.
Oh, you did already? Oh,
Yeah.
geez, I'm not.
And I second.
This now, right? Yeah, better wake up here. Okay, then we better go to vote.
Okay. Director Coverdale.
Aye.
Director Feldman.
Yes.
Director Mullins.
Aye.
Vice President Reynolds.
Aye.
President Nicholson.
Yes, all right, thank you.
Thank you, and I'll share your kind comments with the staff.
Yeah, no doubt.
They really hit it out of the park on this one. Thank you.
So we'll be ready for that open house someday.
Yeah, and the plaque.
Barbecue.
The plaque.
Plaque, right, we need the plaque.
So
Get your name
barbecue.
on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Jeffrey, is this one yours? Please.
This one's mine.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Well, thank you. We're here to give you an update on our budget, the O&M budget and CIP. First, just want to point out that you have an updated process timeline in your staff report. And the focus, the changes are largely associated with what we're doing with the rate plan and the establishment of the report that Sanjay and Nancy are generating for us about the rate plan. And also they're developing water shortage rates for us as well to consider. So the changes that are really largely associated with this calendar from the last time you saw it are associated with those items. So I don't want to read the calendar to you, but you'll see the items that are highlighted in yellow are associated with the rate plan. And we've established meetings with the finance committee that were not on the calendar in the last version that you saw. And we've established firm dates for review and approval of things like the Prop 218 notice and so on. So I didn't want to go through it in any more detail unless you have questions.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? I know this is a long process and we've certainly thoroughly reviewed this. And any new questions coming up? If not,
What I'd like to do then, Chair Michelson, is to spend a few minutes on the actual O&M budget and the CIP budget.
please.
Okay. What we've highlighted in the staff report are a few changes that we've made relative to the version of the report that you saw in March. The first one is that we were able to confirm the amount of the COLA for this fiscal year. So it's 2.93%. We had assumed 2.25% and reflected that in the report that we gave you in March. So we have the February CPI data and it's 2.93% year over year. So that's what we've now reflected in this budget. It's a modest impact on the expense totals, but that's now in this the current version of the budget. The second change that we reflected here versus March is we've confirmed rates from SFPUC. So yeah,
Highlighted big.
Yeah. The interesting thing about that, when we talk about our 8% increase, these rates are going up net after the modest change they made to the raw water credit is 9.3%. So that's what we're going to absorb next year with SFPUC water prices. So we assumed we hadn't made an assumption about the rates. They'd come in a bit higher. So we adjusted the numbers for that. Third change we made is to add money to our interest income line. We've, in recognition of the reality that we are earning more than we originally were assuming from LAIF. We have some options that Mary and I have talked about, but we're not ready to present them yet in terms of investment opportunities. But LAIF is at 4.25 at least, and so this number we're now at $300,000 for interest income for next year. That implies like a $7.1 million cash balance on average for the year. And as you well know, that could move. So it's directionally correct, the adjustment that we made to get it to 300,000. So net, we are down a little bit on the bottom line versus what we showed you in March, $59,000 worth, but we're still at 3.2 million. So from an operating budget perspective, we're still, as you said, Director Coverdale, in your introductory comments on the packet, we're doing well in managing our expenses in lean times in terms of revenue. So from an operating budget perspective, that's really what I wanted to highlight. Mary, did I miss anything?
Thank you.
Any questions, you guys?
No, good job navigating this, you know, these are some pretty probably numbers here, 15%, 15%, 15%, and
Yeah.
still running such a tight ship with these kind of rate increases. So we too, as a district, are affected by rate increases. So thank you for highlighting that.
You're welcome. With respect to the CIP plan, we've not adjusted the CIP plan versus what you saw in March. It's the same set of numbers that form the basis for what the rate planning effort is based on. There was a very good conversation that I was a spectator a few minutes ago with the facilities committee going through our project level numbers and scrubbing them pretty effectively. But this set of numbers is no different than what we discussed in prior meetings with you folks. So, Mary, I don't know if we want to highlight any specifics on the CIP plan itself.
No, but we did go through and line by line,
Yeah.
we'll say an hour before this meeting. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I think it would be wise for us to just briefly share with this great report to our customer base. Look at our pipeline projects. There's a pretty big number, so we are doing all of you are doing our best to ensure we have safe drinking water delivered, and it has to go through a pipe. It doesn't just come out of the sky.
No, that's come through in a lot of the discussions we've had with Sanjay and Nancy about how we communicate when we eventually do our notice.
Yeah.
We've been talking pipelines a lot. You know. No. Change infrastructure and replacements, but we got to start talking about tanks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tanks are the next big opportunity, and we thought the change to the treatment plant was awe-inspiring. The next thing we see is going to be a tank.
Right.
That's going to make our hearts pound a bit. And that's not too far in the future from what I'm starting to see. And so, albeit we have done really well on the budget, we have managed to increase assets, we've managed to reduce expenses, we've managed to live within less water revenue. It's still going to wind up probably having to see some of that reserve go away, because this tank is not going to be cheap. So I'm just wanting to paint reality on top of, you know, euphoria here and say that we're doing really well. It's a good thing we've been able to do as well, because we're going to need it. That's my humble opinion on this. And just want to get that on the table, because some numbers we're going to be seeing are going to be rather sizable.
Well, I like that we can put our finger on the projects,
right,
where the money goes.
Yeah.
I mean, all we have to do is point up the hill there.
We forgot to mention that the facilities committee also did a review of the pending tank project.
Sure.
And we'll have a presentation at the next board meeting on that. That's been vetted by the facilities committee, looking at what some of the options were and what the process was, and kind of a familiarization review. We forgot to mention.
Yeah, without tipping our hand, with a very tight timeline. So it's
I agree.
Things are moving forward.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, we're super excited about this. Thank you for bringing that up. Anything else?
That's it. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, James, you can. Oh, this is 30. Wait, this is 30. I thought this was like 35 or 36.
No, we're not going there. We'll have one more, maybe as close out if you guys like, but yeah, this is 33.
July.
May. Wait, we're in May.
Cut it out. So they just finished. They just finished filter one. And I just want to say Ranger got really efficient, as you can imagine, as they went through each filter. And they had a really dialed by they got to filter one. So they did the under drains, disinfection, commissioning. The pre-commissioning is already completed. There's an initial commissioning period. We get approval from DDW, and then we run it for a 30-day period and give them a report on that. Clear well is done, disinfected, back-T tested, placed back into service. And they've demobilized all the temporary bypass tanks that I showed you last time. if you don't mind going to the contract data sheet, Lisa, that'd be great. We already talked about this. We're all very proud of these numbers, and we'll talk about those some more at the end of the project. Finishing under 5% change orders, I think is fantastic. So we've already talked about that. If you can go to the pictures, Lisa, I think that's a little more interesting. You've seen lots of pictures here, top left. That's filter one after the coating and the under drains going in. That's the silver channels down at the bottom. I'd like to jump over to this picture on the far right. This is before they did the bypass for the clear well. And then if you go to the second picture from the top left, this is what Ranger and the superintendent Ranger, Stephen, came up with. That saved us 40 grand. It was a different approach of how to do this bypass. And they threw this together quite quickly. False walls, so we had a secure facility, and this essentially bypassed the water from going to the clear well they were working on, going through the temporary bypass tanks. They did really well on that. This is some ventilation, third picture from the top left. This is the ventilation for when the guys were in there coating. Blasting inside of a concrete basin does not look like fun. Very hardworking painters in there. And then I'm going to skip down to the lower left picture. This is when they're loading the filter with media. And again, you can see the depth and complexity and how much work goes into that. Next picture is the inside of the clear well. This is the ladder inside the clear well. This was proposed to be removed and replaced. We got in there and realized we don't need to replace this. This is fine. So we just coated it and saved a little bit of money on that. And then the next picture on the third from the bottom left is a coated clear well. That's what it looks like with the coating. They did a great job. Lots of cracks in there. That was part of the cost of the change order that you guys just approved. And then the last picture on the far right lower is the super sacks with the crane loading the media. And I have to say the treatment staff did great on this part. This is tough, lots of washing, lots of sequencing, because you got to get the media clean before you put it in service. You got to manage the contractor and make sure they get all the fines off the top so you don't send fines through the plant. And I'm really proud of how we just really cleaned that one up in terms of the process of that. I also want to point out there's these little support. These are called lawners. This is where the water goes to after in a backwash, and that comes in through the media. These little supports were all replaced. Just so you know, on the channels. I just like to point that out. If you have any questions about the pictures, I'll be happy to answer. And that is the update on Nunes. And I don't know, for kicks, we might do a last one. It's up to you guys. Any questions, I'm happy to answer.
No, I think we've all expressed our support and congratulations for running this as tightly as you did. And certainly with it, 3 years of challenges, starting with the supply chain issues, and it's done. It's really, we got through this in perfect timing as we're about to start an even bigger project. So it's nice to see that they're not overlapping. We're finishing one and moving into another. So great timing and getting this through these 3 years of challenge. And like I said, it wasn't easy.
Any item or bit you could issue through the review of saying that we've completed this major, not a big deal, just I'm asking. I mean, it's a different kind of review now, I know that.
Yes.
But maybe it's worth a little blurb or some sort.
Yeah.
Or certainly are we doing a newsletter in the billings or inserts?
Some way to get information.
Yeah, we can consider what we'll.
Okay, I'm just some kind of take some credit for the stuff that we did, and it doesn't have to be long or winded. Just
it's a major
completion, a $9.5 million project, seamlessly to the public. Never saw a burp. Water supply replaced 30-40% of the plant and pulled it off on time and pretty close to the budget. I mean, I can't talk much more positively about something.
Yeah, we'll see what.
Just
Do you have an idea, Ken?
Well, I just think one thing to share with staff is that as we entered that project, it was very expensive and complicated. And so as a member of the board, there's a fear. How's it going to go? How are we going to manage it? Will this contractor be good? Can we move the money, right? So what I would say from my perspective is that my confidence in trusting our staff and our consultants in managing complicated projects has grown exponentially. And so even the negativity, the comments that are perceived to be negative, why is it taking more time? Or we don't want change orders or whatever. I think all that has been managed so well that the idea of building this big tank, which is even a more expensive project, I don't know if you could talk about complexity versus complexity, but my confidence in our district doing that is just exponentially higher. So I couldn't say anything more positively than that. I can hardly wait for us to do all the complicated projects because I have confidence that it's going to go well. And it's a tribute to you, it's a tribute to the general manager, it's a tribute to the whole staff, all the people in the field that are working on these projects. And the complexity of that job is outrageous. They built a huge, soil nailed retaining wall. It just seemed, oh my gosh, that was a side job almost for them, So I think when I look at what you've done and I look at the ladder that it takes to get down there, my goodness, I'm humbled by, the complexity and the confidence of the event. So I couldn't tell you anything more than thanks. I just want to make sure we have enough money to do the things that we need to do, and I don't worry about the complexity. So good job.
And
we appreciate
Great job.
Yeah, thank you for acknowledging that. I mean, I couldn't agree more, and the point well taken going into an even bigger project. Full confidence, John.
Yeah, thank you. Well said there, Director Coverdale. May you share the longevity of the future of this investment we have just completed?
The parts that we just worked on?
Yeah, I mean, the longevity will be another
40, 60 years.
Oh my goodness.
What a great investment. Pretty close. Yeah.
What a great investment.
And I just want to say staff really appreciates the support of having a facility that's not hard to operate. I mean, it's challenging to operate a treatment plant, but I've worked a lot of facilities where there isn't a lot of investment. And I think, the thanks they're going to hear, but this makes a difference for staff that they can come in. And they've all brought these things to me, and we worked together about, wow, we got a lot of stuff to fix, and we put it into a big project, and it was successful. And I think they really appreciate it. And I just want to express the appreciation from staff to the board for the support that you guys clearly share with us.
One of the things I think it's important for the board to remember and understand is that what the team has done, what Coastside County Water District has done, has changed this plant fundamentally so that it's now got redundancy so the staff can take the system down for repairs without interrupting supply. And we did not have that ability before, and we now have it. And so this is an enormous change in how we are prepared to treat water. In the past, if something broke, we were in trouble. And now we have redundancy and the staff can run the water. They also have two different tools where they have a conventional sediment basin and they have a slant tube settler basin, which allows them to treat water in different methods because they're slightly different. They achieve the same thing. And that's a big change. And staff gets a lot of credit for really moving us to a state-of-the-art treatment plant that has reliability that our constituents account on and really depend on. And so again, hats off to the staff for doing a really good job.
Thank you, Director Reynolds. Yeah, and I just want to add one more thing real quick before I forget. We're running through scenarios now like, oh, what if this happens? What is that? And then we say, oh, we've got this tool, we've got this option, we can do this. And there's a lot less stress in terms of disaster hitting us. We've got options. We're not going to be painted in the corner with this new upgraded facility.
No, so thank you for acknowledging the technical aspects. I mean, we've really done the community well, and with staff input, because ultimately they're going to be operating.
Now the challenge is just to get the communication out to let them know.
Work on that.
Yeah. To your point, now we got to get that through.
Now we got to get that out to the public so they have,
No,
at least in a professional way, so they understand some of this. They'll never understand, oh, but just give them the management summary. We need a management summary for the public.
Thank you. Thank you, James. Yeah, thanks again. Yes, Jack. Okay. Moving on to back to Mary, I believe.
Yes. Okay, so my general manager's report. You already heard about the rate increase with FFUC. In fact, it's being voted on tonight. So I'm assuming it's going to be a done deal. For us, it means 9.3%, and in looking at the actual rate increase, it was 8.8 plus our raw water. We didn't get much of a decrease on the raw water credits. So
credit, I forgot.
39 cents.
How much?
39 cents.
I don't know what percentage that is.
It's
2%.
yeah.
Okay, well, we still get it. So I'm just
Time to go read.
It used to be much higher.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of stuck there at that 38, 35, 39 cents. And so I met a person at Aqua who actually was, the author of that.
Oh.
And they need another rate study to give us.
They need to update.
No, I remember you were talking.
Yes. So we need to pursue that. We had an announcement that Nicole Sankula, the CEO of Bosca, is retiring. She was with the predecessor agency, Bawua, and Bosca for 24 years. So she will be missed. She's been a great,
yeah, it was.
I was able, on behalf of the board, at least when I ran into her, I didn't know.
Yeah, we
thank her for her.
We expected her to stay a little longer. It came as a surprise that would be this quick, but we talked about how the math worked, and I can see what she's up to. So we're meeting tomorrow. No, Thursday night. I don't know what the line of succession will be. I don't know what the search process will be, but I'm sure that will be discussed.
Yeah. Ran into Steve Ritchie at the ACRA meeting as well. Thank him for his help and support of whatever.
Yeah, no, he has been good for us.
Yeah, whatever.
Good.
So one of the another item, we participated in a job fair at the high school. So we had two of our staff who have graduated from Half Moon Bay High School. Dustin Johns and Emma Barr, and so they were a hit. Handed out applications for perhaps an internship position this summer, and so we had some brochures on careers in water. So it was very well received.
Thanks for doing that. We had one kid with a GIS back. Seriously.
Yeah, that's where we're going.
Yeah.
It's nice to have Half Moon Bay High School alum. I know we've got some Half Moon Bay High School alum here on the board. We might as well have some.
So the other event we held in April, on April 16th, we organized a full day tour of the district facilities, and our guests were several of the Bosca staff and water managers around the Bay Area. So we had 14 people, and then our staff, and I'll say, first of all, every single member of our staff actually did something for this tour. So it was really great. But we took the group to Crystal Springs. We took them up to Cahill, to the Palisades Canyon. We then had lunch at the brewery, and then we went and we saw Denniston and then Nunes, and it was very, very well received. I think a lot, we're very unique, and so we have a lot of different processes. For example, as you know, we're the only Bosca agency who treats San Francisco water. So were, so that was new about looking. I think folks were, they were surprised about our treatment plants, and I think one of the biggest surprises was seeing Crystal Springs Pump Station, and they're saying, well, this is San Francisco's. Do they operate it? And how? And we're going, no, this is ours, and we built it, and this is how we get water pumped up and over the hill. So it was, I think it was eye-opening to a lot of people.
Nice.
So
Nice. Great.
Yeah, and there was even
outreach.
There was a let me tip our hand, a bigger reason for this, in that we're really just trying to educate the other Bosco members, the challenges that we face running this district. Right. And this is really about getting them to better understand. Right. There's an equity here when it comes to equity issue, when it comes to the tier 2 allocation. Right. Need to understand the challenges. We are that outlier agency, and the other agencies need to understand that. This is really, really a critical negotiation that our general manager, assisted by Kathleen, I'm sure at this point, Jeffrey, now I'm sure you're well versed on it, just how really, really important that this is for this district going forward. This will be a legacy negotiation. This isn't just, some willy-nilly. This will outlast all of us here. So this is really, really important, educating those. I mean, they can really have an impact on how they do. So it's super, super important. Thank you. Okay.
My exercise.
Yeah.
Thank you, board. I am happy to say one of the monthly highlights is our maintenance worker, Carson Anderson, has been promoted to a distribution operator. While he was doing maintenance, he took his T2, his D2, he worked really hard and showed the whole crew that he was ready. And with the approval of Mary and Jeff, we promoted him, and he's thrilled. It was really nice to tell him that he was going to get a promotion. And he's ready, and he's part of the upcoming generation of locals.
How long has he been here?
A couple of years. He doesn't miss a beat. He never sits still. He's always working. Yeah. So I can't say enough nice things about Carson. The sprinkler system at Crystal Springs Pump Station, the alarm system is almost complete. It's been a tough project. Darren's been doing a great job with that. We talked about the Bosco tour. We've done some mowing at different facilities with our green climber. It's been a great tool. Staff is really happy that you guys got on board and purchased that. It saves us a lot of time, and it's a way safer way to protect our facilities from fire break, or to establish the fire breaks and to protect the facilities and our staff, and how we do that. We've been flushing the north end of the system in preparation. We're going to try to do this annually, but we are doing that in preparation for calibration of the model, which we'll be doing next month with EKI and hopefully cooperatively with the fire department. Nunes, we talked about that. EKI, Medial and Magellan project is well underway, and they're looking to do the liner work the week of 5/20/24. So I want to invite any of the board members that want to come out and see that. There's going to be another opportunity in June for when we do the medial crossing on Alameda. So if you can't make it out on the 20th, we'll have another chance to see the liner.
About when in June? Beginning or end of June?
Mid-June. It's mid-June. We don't have a date yet. I'm sorry.
Okay, so no, good. I'd like to be around. I think this is really, this is great. I'm so happy that we came up with this.
The 20th.
May 20th.
May 12th. Yes.
So 6
days out. 92, we're working on that. We're working on permitting. Tank replacement project. I think the board knows that we're looking at DN as a potential strong bidder for that. We're ready to build it. And I'm chasing down Verizon and various people that are kind of co-located there, asking them, reminding them that they need to go. They've been on notice for a couple of years that they need to relocate some of their facilities temporarily and permanently. And San Vicente is at 90%. I talked to Alan, or I emailed with Alan today, and they are working on our last comment set. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Had a chance to do a little on the walk discussion with the conference. Actual little vetting and trying to understand.
They're probably buying you lunch.
No. They were just there. We just happened to be there. Did a little interview, and vetting of, what they've done. And these people are quite substantial. I have to come away thinking that, just for your information. We're talking big bucks here and a need for really the best we could get. And I was impressed with what I learned and understood about their business and how they've grown and what they've done. So just, again, information, things that you can
Yeah, no, to have everyone assemble, all the heavy hitters in one room.
Yeah, good.
You know,
a lot
all
of
the
people there. I
contractors.
mean, most of whom we haven't done business with. They were there as Badger, the meter people. That was funny talking to them, seeing all their new product and everything. It's quite interesting where they're going with all this stuff. But so you get to see some of the people you've done business with and what they've done, and it's always helpful to feel good about the fact that those are the guys that you choose sometimes to do your business. So it's very positive. I think so.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm seeing nothing but blank pages now. In my word packet, do we have any requests for future board meetings, agenda items?
Let's have one next month.
Yeah, let's, second Tuesday, does that work for you?
Yeah, it works for me.
We're on.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock?
Well, unless there's special business.
Be there, be square.
Back to this agenda item, Mr. Chair. I was asked the question recently by a property owner on 92 about the fire hydrants. Are they up to standards with fire flow, or are we still off the chart with no fire flow there on 92 project?
Where we did the jumper, the CAL FIRE knows, I believe there's a couple hydrants past the jumper that are lower flow.
Okay.
CAL FIRE knows about that. Coastside Fire knows about that. We painted the caps red so that if someone goes out there, that indicates that this hydrant is 499 gallons or less. So when firemen go to a hydrant, it's the caps painted red, they know right away this isn't a good hydrant. And we do have a cellular transducer on there that will alarm us if it drops. And we actually caught someone trying to take water out of that hydrant. And Aaron got in his truck so fast because he thought there was a disaster out there. And sure enough, we found a contractor out there trying to pull water.
Nice.
And then said, "Where do I get water around here?" And Darren said, "Not here." So it was a good test. We tested the alarm system, and we have these portable transducers that we can put places. We can put them on tanks if we have problems with SCADA. It's just the nimbleness of the crew. They like technology, and they're really good at using it and utilizing it, leveraging it. So it's alarmed if there's a problem. But yes, we still have a couple of hydrants until we get the 92 project completed that are going to be substandard flow. But there's no violation of any code. They're just less than 499.
Thank you for that response.
Yeah, and we are doing everything
We have done our job.
everything we can. It's just we are at the whim of the regulatory system. Yeah. Thank you all, and I think we can call it a night and go to the planning commission.
Recording stopped.
Thank you.